Hello, my name is Jenny Cather, and I am the marketing specialist at St. Paul's Senior Living Community here in Greenville, Pennsylvania. And I would like to welcome you to our second episode of the Ask an Expert series. We are bringing you these presentations via video at this time because, as we all know, 2020 has brought forth many challenges for us, but we wanted to continue to offer this important educational opportunity to our community. And since we can't invite groups of visitors to our campus at this time, we developed this format to bring our experts to you. So you can view these videos on our Facebook page by simply searching St. Paul's Senior Living Community. And these videos will also be found on our website, and you can find those by clicking on the News tab on our homepage. We encourage you to watch these videos and share them with family, friends, essentially anybody that you think would benefit from hearing this important information. And speaking of important information, our important topic for today is Medicare Open Enrollment. And that is this time of year when seniors need to update their insurance coverage and benefits if need be. And because we know that sometimes that can be an overwhelming task, we have invited our resident expert to walk you through some of that today. This is Debbie Yoos. She is a billing specialist in our accounting department here at St. Paul's, and she has a longevity here of 14 years, so she really knows her stuff. Many of our residents are very familiar with Deb, as she can and often does walk them through medical insurance support. So thanks for being here, Debbie.
Sure.
We're going to just start at the beginning. So can you let us know who is eligible and who might be interested and should be watching this today, and what they need to be considering during this open enrollment period?
Sure. Open enrollment is the time every year when you can make changes, and the only time that you can make changes. Seniors, when you're turning 65, become eligible for Medicare. You probably all received this booklet or a form of this booklet in the mail. This is a good resource. It outlines all of the covered services under traditional Medicare. If you would choose not to enroll in traditional Medicare, they give you the option of enrolling in Medicare replacement plans.
Okay, so if you don't need to make any changes to your current health care plan, you don't need to worry about open enrollment, right? You can just leave things exactly the way they are. But people who remember that this is a very important time of year, what should they be looking at? What should they be considering to determine whether or not they need to make changes?
Usually what I suggest is that you look at the services that you've had this year. Has your health care coverage met your needs? Have you had services that maybe weren't covered, or you had a higher balance due copay than you thought you would? Just to reflect on what your needs are. Have you had a health care change where you know that you need to have some upcoming services and you want to figure out what the financial impact of it is going to be? Are these services going to be covered for you adequately? Just a general overview.
So it's important, if your health circumstances have changed and you're looking at specific practitioners, you also want to make sure that they're considered in-network.
Yes, if you have enrolled in a Medicare replacement plan, or you're thinking about enrolling in a Medicare replacement plan or changing it, you would want to verify with each of the providers that you use or want to use that you can have covered services in their offices or facilities.
So really, every circumstance is individual.
Correct. And you would want to, you kind of need to determine what is your biggest need. Is it the medical piece of it, the pharmacy piece of it? What is your biggest need, actually? So, and that was what will impact you the most financially. So perhaps you have minimal physical needs for the health insurance side, but you take a lot of prescription drugs. you would want to make sure that your prescription drugs are covered to the maximum of that they can be. We usually suggest that you maybe speak with your pharmacist, because some of the prescription drug plans, if you're on traditional Medicare, they're called Med D plans. Sometimes they change from year to year. Some of them drop out, some new are added, or their formularies change. So something that was covered in the current year may not be covered going forward, or you'll owe more. So those are things that we just usually suggest that maybe you want to check on to make sure that you are getting the maximum benefit that you really need.
Okay, so if somebody is watching this video today and perhaps thinking about moving to St. Paul's to our skilled nursing residents, short or long term, we do have a neighborhood that does short-term rehabilitation. Could you explain a little bit about what plans St. Paul's participates in? Sure.
St. Paul's, of course, we are a traditional Medicare provider. To come to have covered services in the villas in the health center, you would have to have a 3-day acute care stay before Medicare would cover your services. Of course, all of the covered services in the health center are based on medical necessity. And Medicare does have specific medical criteria that has to be met to be a skilled resident in that facility. We do have residents that are there long-term. They are considered a custodial care, so their insurance is not paying for them to stay there. We do participate in some HMO, PPO products for covered services in the villas. So not only are we a traditional Medicare provider, we are a UPMC provider for Medicare and commercial products, and also some products purchased through the exchange. If you've purchased a product through the exchange, you would need to check directly with UPMC to verify that you can utilize the health center. There are a couple that do not have benefits for the villas. We are a Highmark provider, so Community Blue, Freedom Blue, and Security Blue are covered services there. We are a covered provider for there. Also, PPO Blue and Community Blue, which are commercial products, not Medicare, also can have services. We are a United Healthcare provider. A couple of the ones that we are not a provider for are Aetna and Humana. The only way you could have covered services in the villas if you have one of those two products is if you have a PPO product. They have to have out-of-network benefits. Normally though, we try to tell you if you are using an out-of-network provider, your copays are usually higher and your out-of-pocket maximum is also higher.
Okay. So I guess maybe to wrap up, what are the changes that people can be expecting this year?
What I'm seeing the most when I have reviewed some of the HMO PPOs that are available out there is that the maximum out-of-pocket is changing this year. Some of them dramatically, they're going up, which means, say last year, if you had a $4,000 out-of-pocket maximum, some of those now are changing to be $7,550. Or if you had $5,900, now maybe it's going to $6,500. So that means you're going to have to pay more out-of-pocket if you are a person that utilizes your health care coverage a lot. So that could have a substantial impact financially for you.
For certain. So if your current provider has made substantial changes, should people expect to have been notified?
Yes. Most HMO PPOs, they send out a letter to their current enrollees, and it outlines what the changes are for the coming year.
Okay. So if you've received that letter and everything looks good to go, probably don't need to make any changes, but if you do have questions, you might want to consider
Correct.
Looking into making those changes.
Yes. Okay. But if you're totally happy with the coverage you have, then you have no reason to change.
Okay, well, thank you, Debbie, very much for joining us today and sharing your extensive knowledge and letting us understand how important it is to gather good information before you want to make changes to your health care plan.
You're welcome.
And we thank you for joining us today. Typically, this would be the point in our presentation where we would ask for questions and Debbie would answer them. But since we don't have that capacity available to us, please use the comments section on our Facebook page if you're viewing this video on Facebook. And if you're viewing this video on our website, please email any questions you might have to the email address on the screen. And also, you can use that email address to suggest any future topics that you would like to see us bring forward in our Ask an Expert series. We hope that the next installment of the St. Paul's Ask an Expert series will be put forth in mid-January after the new year. And again, thanks for joining us, and have a great day.